Hi, guys. Good morning. Welcome to another live episode on our immigration radio every week. This is when we bring latest and all the news related to Canadian immigration in the past week. My name is Sahil, and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I have my immigration practice ongoing in Ontario, and we are based in Canada. So, if you have ever anything to discuss, please feel free to drop in a line. Also, just a quick note, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do consider subscribing as we bring all our latest updates with regards to Canadian immigration on our YouTube channel and across social media. Guys, overall, talking about Canadian immigration, this week was quite pleasantly surprising and happening at the same time. Lot of things happened. So in today's video, we will be talking about major updates with regards to express entry. For sure, we will be deep diving into the express entry pool. As of now, $1 million question: will IRCC drop the express entry points to sub 500? Will the relay of CC draws and the general draws and stem draws continue? So we will definitely take a closer look at the express entry pool distribution this week, closely followed by major updates with regards to LMIAs as well, work permits. There are a couple of very important updates that happened. Also, one of the rarest PNPs just opened intake for a very short while, but yes, we will be bringing updates with that. A couple of PNP updates here and there, and also an important update for future students and workers, temporary foreign workers in Canada in this video. So today's video is going to be very, very happening and informative at the same time. We'll keep it crisp, short. We won't bog you down by a lot of useless, stuff behind the curtains and whatnot, because we like to keep it crisp, sharp, and to your use, because you have to get on with your day. So expect the video to be wrapped up in a couple of minutes here and there. Also, by the end of the video, we will take a look at questions and answers. So if you have any specific questions, burning questions, I will answer them live on the video by the end. So please be sure to drop in your questions every time you go or go through the video, or you get anything in mind. All right, guys. First of all, the week started with a bang. There was a CC only draw. This was an express entry Canadian experience class draw. Surprisingly, this particular draw happened with a CRS drop of 521. Well, I would not say it surprisingly, because people were expecting, but it was a pleasant surprise where people were always thinking that, okay, the scores have gone beyond 547 and scores have gone beyond 529. Will they ever come down? So this was a proof in concept that if IRCC continues to hold back to back draws, we can expect lower CRS cutoffs. But at the same time, what's important to note is that the CRS distribution as of June 22nd is standing at 22,947. And the overall pool is sitting at 256. This was discussed last time as well. Even though the pool did bring it back, like the overall number did come back, but the pleasant surprise was 22,947. With 3,000 more people going out of the pool this week, this number should now be sitting at close to 20,000. And there are about 471 people sitting in the 601 above. Now, looking at the pool as of today, my assumption that if IRCC continues to hold back to back draws worth of 3,000, 3,500, considering that there is a category draw in one particular week. So we still have almost half of the year left. So starting July, we have almost 6 months left. Starting, and I've always been saying in my past couple of videos that second half of the year, IRCC does draws which are scheduled to land in the following year. I mean, look at all the previous videos. We have been continuously saying that. And this July onwards, IRCC, most of the draws that happen, or most of the invitations that happen, not all of them, but most of the invitations are scheduled for the intake next year. That means IRCC has a larger ground to play. Next year's target is sitting at almost 385,000 people. That means IRCC can now comfortably land a couple of people from the future draws, like from this July onwards draw in this year. But a bulk of those draws are or will be scheduled to land in the next year. this phenomena does get stronger in the month of August onwards and goes strong up until December. December is the month when we start seeing lesser number of draws because they're wrapping up the year. They're busy in preparing for a phase of completing the landing, COPRs, and all of that, and then they have to close the year. So I believe the agenda between August to November is the strongest. November being the month when we see the immigration levels plan. So I believe be prepared for good number of draws between August, September, October, November. Say about 4 months, but yes, July onwards. Within these 5 months, if you look at a bi-weekly draw, you're looking at approximately 10 to 12 draws. Within 10 to 12 draws, we still haven't seen a trade draw yet. We haven't seen, hopefully, a stem draw yet. We are still missing on another round of healthcare, couple of left French category draws as well. All in all, if out of the 12 draws, about 5 to 7, if they hold category specific related draws, and obviously one week cannot be just one category, they'll have multiple round of categories, then I'm assuming another round of 5 to 6 CEC draws to go through. Well, I would be, you know, I'm not at all expecting a general draw, but that would be very nice to see. At least IRCC giving the world a chance to come as well. But at the same time, IRCC apparently should now be considering category draws as a replica or a replacement of the general draws at large. So I'm not expecting a general draw, but people outside Canada, if you are planning to come to Canada, obviously you would have to work really hard on improving your your IELTS and all of those scores, expecting that you know you can become a part of the category draw. So that's one. More importantly, this year only a couple, say about 18,000 odd French draws have happened. So we are expecting to see a bit of a more action on the French draws. If I bring up the screen here, um, if you look at the previous draws, this particular part, so we have had a couple of French draws. The French draws have not happened beyond March, so it's already June. So we can expect to see French draws. If you look at the trade draw, that hasn't happened. Last year, there were about 36, so about 4,500 odd number of draws. So this year, there has been no trade draw. So that is expected. Education draw, there has been only 1,000 people. Then definitely I can expect more education related people here. STEM draws, none after April 11th, 2024. So we are pretty much sitting at the anniversary of STEM category draws. Last year also there was only one STEM category draw. So don't expect a lot of action on STEM. Whereas healthcare, the problem with healthcare is that they have now included more number of occupations, and that has actually pushed the score of healthcare categories on an all-time high. But so far, if you look at 2024, we had close to about 10,000, say about, yeah, a little over 10,000 people. But this year, only so far 1,000 people have been invited, that too at high cutoffs of 504. So I believe, in my opinion, the upcoming weeks should be heavy on uh, trade, and then education, pending of education, then healthcare definitely awaited, and all the other draws which might there be, in terms of parallel processing. So yes, expect a lot of action in the upcoming weeks, and also we should be seeing the immigration levels plan in the month of November as well. So I'm pretty positive on express entry. Again, the million-dollar question: whether can we see a lower 500 or a sub 500 draw? I expect if IRCC continues to invite 3,000 people every now and then a draw closer to 510 or 5.5. So anywhere above 505 should be, you should start becoming in the safe territory, and 510 should eventually be a rather safe place to be. So if you're sitting at 510, then that should be a rather safe place. 505 is marginally greenish, I would say. Sub 500 I'm not expecting, because IRCC has actually taken down wrath on a lot of other categories as well. So yeah, not much action on 5 sub 500, but yes, definitely 510 around, and 505 above is a safe category to be. Overall, this was my assessment on express entry. While you can start pouring in a couple of questions, and then we will definitely have a look at your more specific questions. But overall, There was another important update this week. IRCC had actually announced major changes in the high wage LMIA and the low wage LMIA position processing. As you already know, the difference between high wage and low wage position, as the name suggests, is only the median wage. If you pay an employee above the median wage, then you get into high wage, which is a rather easier position to process. If you pay somebody below the median wage, then you are getting into a low wage position, which requires deeper scrutiny, a lot of questioning from the ESDC department. Now, before June 27, this is the list on the left hand side as you see on the screen. After June 27, right side is the screen. The department made a lot of changes. If you see Northwest Frontier, especially about $48. But yes, overall in the province of Ontario, where the maximum number of processings happen, it's sitting at $36 now. That's gone up almost about $2. That's the highest increase we are seeing. Quebec is just sitting almost under $2. There's another a dollar worth of increase, $1.20 worth of increase in Saskatchewan. Alberta, we are seeing almost 60 cents, $1.38, or rather, yeah, one $2 worth of increase in British Columbia. So highest gainers would be Ontario and British Columbia, to be precise, in terms of the processing median wages. So that's an added on burden on employers, but good news for employees at the same time. But guys, my only point here is that when IRCC knows that Canada is sitting at the brink of a recession, when businesses, in light of ongoing US and Canada trade talks, all of this mess is ongoing. How much more of a burden, financial burden, can the employer sustain? That is one balancing equation next to recession, where people know that inflation is ongoing, and at the same time businesses need to run money, and people also need to earn their bread and butter. So it's a very tricky balancing situation. I'm sure the decision makers do take a note of both the sides equally. Overall, I believe there was another important update with regards to the field of study requirements. IRCC did announce very important update with regards to field of study. Now, just to give you a background, as previously before 2024, it was easier for people to just come to study in Canada on a diploma and get a 3-year work permit, PGWP, or just come to do either a bachelor's or a master's. They could have simply completed a program at a DLI and then gotten their PGWP, which changed the scenario in 2024 when IRCC introduced the field of study requirements, saying that people only studying in specific fields of study related to those industries will get a PGWP. Now, November 2024, that change happened, and come forward to today, there's another list that has been updated. About 178 programs have been removed, and 119 fields have been added. Say, for example, this is a CIP code. Whatever program you choose to study in Canada post June 2024. So let me just bring it up on the screen. Let me just bring up the actual news. Um, just a second. Yes. Mm, 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 mm. Yes, this one. Okay, so if you see the latest news, we had made a dedicated video on this as well, saying that 190 new fields, key sectors in healthcare and social workers, education and trades were added. This is done in light of the ongoing requirements of express entry, and with express entry coming to the picture with relation to PGWP and study programs, expect this to be an annual trend. Every year when IRCC makes changes in terms of the preferences of express entry related to the labor market shortages and the requirements of Canada, then expect the field of study requirements also to be updated, because IRCC wants people to study what Canada wants. Okay. Now, 178 fields have no longer been linked to occupations in long term shortages. That means they've been removed, are now totaling up to 920 study eligible PGWP programs. Anybody who's applied for a study permit before June the 25th will still be eligible for a PGWP, but anybody who's submitting an application after June 25th will be directly impacted by this. So, this was another important update. But the star of the morning today is the Northwest Frontier Territories. Guys, in terms of PNP updates, very, very important. Northwest Territories nominee program is accepting nominations between July the 2nd till July the 9th. This is a public service announcement on the government of NWT website. Although a lot of people find this place to be close, but let me tell you, this place pays you really well. If you have if you have ever visited NWT, I haven't though, but yes, I'm assuming this should be a go-to opportunity for people. First intake was opened between February 27th and March 26th. Following this, 21 nomination spaces are still available out of the 150 nominations for 2025. I know a lot of people will say that this is too less of an opportunity for people, but guys, at the same time, there are lesser number of employers and lesser number of applicants as well, because people really are not in a position to make moves so easily. So this would kindly be a good news for people who are viewing us from Yukon, people from Northern Ontario, or people already in Northwest, Northwest Territories. If you already are around the area, you might just want to use this program. Only 21 spots left for a total of 150 for the whole province. The province itself has a very lower population, so yes, by a relative number, this should be a decent one to look at. Overall, there was an update with regards to the Manitoba as well. Let me just bring it up on the screen. uh, yes. So Manitoba had a draw on June 26th. Total number of letters of advice issued were 492. Let me just bring it up on the screen. Yeah, it's already there. Now, international education stream, close relatives received a cutoff at 478, and recruitment initiatives, 14 LAs were invited by Manitoba. Also, we already know that Manitoba has been offering the requirement with regards to support letters for PNP EY applicants. So it is still a good news. People who are there in Manitoba, at least they are getting the support that they need. For anybody who's willing to move to Manitoba, please take a very closer look at their PNP program before you do so, because it does give you negative points for your work permit outside Manitoba, your education outside Manitoba. Hence, that might just not be a good option. So please take a good read on the Manitoba PNP programs and then only decide to make a move. All right. So, guys, that is pretty much it from the perspective of updates. We wanted to keep it very short and crisp with respect to your time. Going over to the questions and answers, it is important for us to take a look. So, first question today: can you please shed light on healthcare quota for this year? Only 1,000 people till now. How much are we expecting? Um, Harisal, I am expecting IRCC to have a decently good size of healthcare related quotas. If you look at healthcare in 2024, IRCC invited close to 10,000 people. This year, only 1,000 people have been invited so far. So, going by context of last year's allocations, I believe we still have a decently good number to go on. Problem is, they have now included further occupations within the healthcare category. That means the cutoffs should be higher than last year. Last year we saw cutoffs of 422, 445, and 463. This year's cutoffs should be sitting at a higher. I think the lowest should be around 470s or something. But still, healthcare still has a long way to go. Canada does require a lot of healthcare practitioners, including support workers. So I'm pretty bullish on healthcare. Expect some good action July onwards on healthcare. Um, Okay, this is a good question. I'm expecting a 3 months work permit extension because of passport expiring. Processing time is over 200 days. What could be the expected outcome? Amit, PGWP expiry due to passport shorter expiry. So if your PGWP was issued for a shorter duration because your passport was expiring, this is pretty nominal. This is pretty routine. If your passport was of a shorter duration, you would obviously get a PGWP of a shorter duration, but you can always apply for a PGWP extension on paper only. Please remember there is a specific section on the IRCC website which dedicatedly talks about PGWP extension in the event of passport expiry on paper. Now, if your paper application does not return you with a file number with before your expiry of your current work permit, there is no need to be alarmed because you already become on implied status. But still, if you want to be double safe, extra cautious, then you can submit an online application with a letter of explanation giving reference of tracking to your paper application. One of the two will get approved, and then you can go ahead and take care of the second one. Have a chat with IRCC on that, and then you should be fine. But it's pretty routine. There's no need to be worried about that. Uh, okay. Can I apply for a study visa after 10 years of study gap with proper gap justification? Of course, Karamjeet. Canada does allow study permits with study gaps. We have been doing study permits with longer study gaps for years now. But the only thing to note is that if your age is on the higher end, you expect a lower success of study permit, not just because of a study gap, but overall IRCC processes study permits with higher ages with a lot of caution. You have to give proper justification to your study gap, and then you should be fine. But overall, IRCC has been issuing higher rates of refusal on all visitor visas, study visas, applications blanket. So don't take it personally. But yes, IRCC's regime of processing has become very, very strict. Hopefully, in the times, this should get easier. But overall, if you know, there is an 80% drop of applications for study permit from India itself. So looking at the available quota for country where we don't have a dedicated country based quota, but looking at the number of people they would want to invite in order to maintain diversity, I think you might just become a bit lucky based on lesser number of applications. All right. Can we expect a French draw in the month of July? Of course, roaming reality. If not the month of July, to be specific, expect a couple of more French draws in the balance of the year 2025. Not many, but yes, I still think there is a closing in gap on French category draws. Next year should be very, very bullish on French categories because we're expecting IRCC to hold approximately 12% of the overall quota of immigrants. So yes, this year a bit of a balance list. About I think about 3 to 4 thousand more people should be coming in terms of the French draws, but only time will tell. There is no guarantee to that. Sanjay, everybody has been waiting for an OINP Masters Graduate Draw. I believe OINP was busy in the launch of the newer employer job offer portal. Although the Masters Graduate stream is not a part of the existing portal or the employer portal, but still EYs were withdrawn. They were busy, as OINP says, they were busy balancing off the previous year's inventory and this year's quota. So expect Masters Graduate draws to be coming your way very, very soon because Ontario does have a dedicated program existing in the inventory, and they haven't announced any closure on the master's graduate as of yet. So I am expecting a couple of draws in the coming month, expecting around June or July or August, but let's see how that pans out. uh, okay. Okay, that's a good question. Does a job title matter, or is it mandatory to be the unit group member if IRCC's NOC code match with R? Okay, George, it is important to note that job titles do not really matter to an extent that they should not be an extremely opposite job title, which IRCC may just start doubting your position. But apart from the doubt and the risk, there is no such requirement of a job title. What matters is the overall NOC code's top introductory paragraph that should be applicable on you, and you should be doing significant number of job duties, roles and responsibilities as mentioned on the NOC code. That is the key thing to match. uh, Job titles not matching completely has been a very common thing that we've been facing in our practice since forever. So I am not too worried on job title. But yes, the introduction paragraph and the job title responsibilities, significant matching of job title responsibilities is important. Please ensure, it's a very very big mistake. Please ensure that do not copy paste the roles and responsibilities. If you just copy paste, then IRCC will just issue a refusal. Okay, TRV timelines. Okay, this is a good question. TRV timelines, it's been over 2 months of applying after PGWP. My friend, PGWP processing ideally is taking close to 6 months. Right now, we have applicants. I personally know applicants who have been in the pipeline for about 5 to 6 months. 2 months is still on the entry level. Right now, internal PGWP extension applications, as advised by IRCC on their website, is sitting at close to 210 days. So I believe you can still enjoy authorized period of work. If your authorization letter that you received has expired, call IRCC on the phone, get an extension of that letter. You should be fine. You can always raise a web form, get an extension, but still, until IRCC makes a decision, you should be fine working on authorized period of stay. Um, okay, this one's good. Can I add my 3 years of CA internship experience as foreign work experience in PGWP application not shown earlier? Now, Varun, let me be very clear. If you try to bring in any new information that you had previously not declared in any of your applications, for example, if you are currently applying for a PGWP, in your study permit you had conflicting information that you did not declare, there are always chances of IRCC picking a previous application and charging you with a PFL, ADR, or a misrep, saying that why did you hide such information in the past. Um, Although you might just be able to get away with an explanation that this was only an internship, a paid internship, but be sure or be prepared for a strong questioning considering the IRCC's ongoing strict regime. Hiding any information is not at all suggested. Putting it there in the PGWP as your work experience obviously has does not have any eligibility sort of requirement. So from that perspective, it is relatively lesser attention grabbing, but still disclosing all the information is a mandatory requirement. So you cannot hide any information even though you did it previously. Right now you have to go for full disclosure, and that is a must requirement. So first part of your question, should I declare? Answer is yes, you will have to declare because full disclosure is important and a prime requirement. Can it have an issue? Potentially, yes. If IRCC does have an issue with you lying on your previous application, that might become an issue for you. Can you do anything to fix it? You might just be able to submit a letter of explanation later if you're questioned that you didn't know if paid internship was employment or not. But still, the risk is there, and you can't do anything about it because you will have to give full disclosure any which ways. So you can't escape it. You will have to talk about it. Uh, okay, let's just look at closing in couple of more questions. Mm, okay, Avijit, any news on ONP? When will IRCC start? When will ONP start nominating applications submitted in 2024? Avijit, OINP unfortunately has been undergoing a lot of delays. I believe there are two reasons behind it, and they did make it clear on their website as well. But yes, OINP should start issuing decisions. But most important was they might have an overspill of inventory from last year. Now, they under the new Sevens Act, the Worker Sevens Act that they've released, they are planning to cancel a couple of applications which are not aligning with their labor market preferences. So I am expecting OINP is holding back on decisions because they're waiting for this Sevens Worker Sevens Act to be released. Once that bill comes into action, they can cancel a few applications and then release the full bulk load of processings. Also, the second reason is because YNP has been busy with strictly scrutinizing applications. They've had cases of fake payrolls, fake employment situations which they have dealt with previously. They have made physical appearances at the employers to check. So that also is causing a lot of chokehold on the applications, the processing. I know a lot of people are suffering because their work permits are expiring, which is another unfortunate outcome of this. But yes, OINP should be releasing out decisions any which ways this year because these are inventories from last year. So I'm hoping a lot of action from OINP in this particular year. Um, okay, this one's interesting. PGW applied in December after master's degree, still not arrived. Why is it getting late? Satish, 210 days is the processing time as advised by IRCC. You are closing in on the 210-day mark. I would highly recommend speak with IRCC on the phone once, try to raise a web form, get a status update, and also if nothing works out in the next 1 month, also try to order GCMS notes and then see what's the hold on your application. It should not be any problem as such if you complete or meet the program eligibility requirements. But yes, I understand that it's an inconvenience for you to live in a country without a status certificate in hand. But yes, don't worry about it. Just speak to IRCC on the phone. You should be fine with it. All right, guys. That's pretty much it for the day today. We have had a lovely session today. It was really nice talking to you. Once again, if you have anything to discuss with us, please feel free to schedule an appointment, and we would always be happy to speak with you. Wish you all the best, and I really hope to see you soon in Canada. All the best.